What's going on, my Instagram and YouTube peeps? Fernando with Pro Windows, aka the Nandolorian. And this time I got another video for you guys on setting up your tanks. For those of you that have recently purchased your Nandolorian systems, they are currently on the way. So I want to show you guys when you receive your system, besides the other video I have currently on my YouTube page that explains in details what the system comes with, what you need to do to prepare to install it onto your van, your trailer, or on the side of your truck, or wherever you decide to install it. I want to show you the process on setting up your water tank. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start from scratch, brand new tank. This one here currently is a 55-gallon vertical tank. It is brand new. These are the ones that I personally use for my custom installations here in California. Unfortunately, I will not be shipping these out to you guys if you're out of state. The reason for that is because when I get them shipped into California, I pay an extensive amount on shipping costs. So if I resell this tank to you guys, I'm going to be adding the actual cost of the tank plus my shipping, original shipping charges to California, and then back out to you guys, which is going to increase the price on your tanks. But for you guys that are out of state, you can purchase this tank directly from a pressure washing supplying store. You can catch Tank Depot, Plastic Depot, and there's another one called, what's the other one called? I don't know, but whatever tank works for you guys, I want to show you guys exactly what you're going to be doing when it comes to setting up your bulkheads, depending if you got yourself a single user or a double user. You guys are going to be creating your own hose, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what hose, what size you need to do. So we're going to do this live here on Instagram, and I'm currently recording another video for my YouTube page just to share it out for the new customers that purchase the Nandolorian system. So we're going to start off with the finding out what size hole we need to create into our tanks. If you guys don't have a digital caliper, don't worry about it. You do not need this. This is just for my reference when I do my custom installations here. Your system is, if you purchase a single user system, you're going to have two bulkheads you need to plumb into your tank. One's going to be your RO production, and the other one's going to be your RO pickup for your DI. I'm going to show you exactly how to plumb both of them. For your RO into your tank, there's only two simple steps you need to do. Cut a hole, install it, and you're done. For the DI one, for the RO pickup line, we're going to do a different method, which I'm also going to show you what you need to do so you guys are not stuck asking yourself or scratching your head like, what do I do on this position? So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to measure, well, I'm going to measure what the thickness, the width of this bulkhead is to cut the correct size hole into my tank. Believe me, I've tried doing it, eyeballing it before, and yeah, I ended up cutting the hole too big, and I had to upgrade my bulkheads and then put an adapter, a reducer on it. So we are currently at 1 13/64 of an inch, which is just slightly under 1 1/4 inches. That's the width of the hole we want to create. So 1 13/64 or 1 1/4 is the biggest that you want to go. So your next step is, if you guys do not have your drill bits to cut holes, you can purchase a single one. If you're not going to be using them a lot, do not purchase yourself a kit. I do have two different kits, one for wood and one for metal and plastic. I use the metal ones on my plastic because they last a lot longer versus the metal ones. You guys do not need to buy this at all. You're just going to purchase the size that you actually need to cut your holes into your tanks. So we said 1 13/64 or 1 1/4. I don't think these are pre-labeled. Actually, they are 1 1/2, 1 3/8. We might not have a 1 1/4 in here. 1 1/16. So if I go 1 1/2, another way of finding out if you're going to go I'm going to remove this cap here on the end. I'm sorry, the nut and the washer. Another way to find out is by using the actual size that you need and fitting it over. What you don't want to happen is you do not want to overlap the gasket. So you want to make sure you have enough clearance so the actual gasket makes a tight seal around the tank. Because if you make it too wide, then you're not going to be able to properly seal this. So this is where we're at. This is the 1.5 inch. I do not have a smaller one. Actually, I do. The 1 3/8. So we're going to go with 1 3/8. That's going to be a perfect snug fit. So when you guys go to the supply store, your Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever you guys have across state, purchase a 1 3/8 for a 1/2 inch bulkhead. This is for the Nandolorian systems, and this is going to be perfect. So we're going to start off with that. We are going to pre-cut 2 holes. Now, before you cut the holes in whatever position you want on your tank, depending where your tank is going to be at inside of your vehicle, inside of your van, inside of your truck, or on a trailer, you want to keep in mind some tanks come with numbers on them that'll show you the level of the water you have inside of your tank. Make sure that is facing the direction that you want it, and then make sure you properly hook up the connections wherever you want them. They can be on the back side of the tank, they can be on the sides of the tank, or both on the right side, left side, back, front, wherever you guys want. Just make sure RO is on one side, your DI pickup is on another. I usually like to spread them over just because I want my water falling on one end of the tank and the pickup on the other side. That way you're not picking up those little bubbles of air. So now that I have the correct size of the hole we're going to drill, I'm going to grab my adapter here. We're going to sit it on, and we are going to lock it in place. Going to grab my drill here. All right, we're all set. So like I said, before I drill my hose, I want to make sure, because this is a tank that I use on my custom installations here in California, I want to make sure I position them right. So whether I install it in a trailer, whether I install it on a van, this is the front facing part that I want. So my RO production, the water going into the tank, the bulkhead is going to be positioned right over here. If that's the side, or if you decide to mount your system somewhere else, but usually I will mount the systems somewhere on the right side of the tank, and the tank usually goes towards the back of the trailer or the back of your van, just above your axle, your rear axle, or just in front of your rear axle. You don't want to keep this full and then not be on top of your axle. So we're going to be drilling somewhere right over here. I've been doing this a lot of times, so if you have to, put a little X on where exactly you want to position it. I already know. So we're going to go right in here. We're going to pre-drill this. I have it on a low setting. There we are. That's one. Let me turn off my caliper over here. I forgot to turn it off. All right, so that's one hole. We want to do a little quick test fit just to make sure this is going to sit in here properly. I'll go ahead and bring this up closer to you guys. Bam, there you go. It's going to sit in properly. This is your RO. We'll go back to the installation procedures, but first I want to cut both of my holes for my RO production that's going into your tank. And then this is going to be the DI pickup, the RO pickup for your DI. So we're going to reposition this one right over here. There we go. That was fast. Now, Once you guys are all done making your holes from your Nandolorian system, your first bulkhead, the first line you are going to hook up to your system is going to be the water line that's coming out of your RO. All right, so I pre-labeled your hoses. Look at which end has the RO out. And that one's going to go into the left side of your tank. If you're on your screen, you're probably looking at the right side. We're going to grab the washer. There's a plastic washer, and then there's the nuts. We're going to reach inside, put that out. Well, the best way to do it is to position both of them at the same time. And remember, counterclockwise to tighten. So we'll put it in there. Make sure you don't cross thread this thing. There we go. Nope. Almost. Yep, there we go. All right, so it's on. You want to make sure it's nice and tight. And once it's ready, position your hose on your RO. You do not need to put any Teflon tape on the actual barb itself. Just make sure you turn it, you twist it in all the way to the point where it's nice and tight. Once it's nice and tight, on the bottom end, you do have the option of putting in a float valve if you want, but keep in mind that the float valves are usually about what, 4 or 5 inches in height. You're going to reduce the amount of water you can hold in your tank, so you're going to drop at about 5 inches. That can be about 5 gallons, maybe more. So you do not need to put no Teflon tape in here because this is water coming in to your tank. No Teflon, no nothing needed. Now that that step is completed, I'm going to remove this because I need to use this as an example. The next, for the single users, this is the process. For the double users, the same process for your RO. All right. Now, for a single or double user, we're going to do the same thing with the next bulkhead you need to install, which is going to be your RO pickup. All right. So for that, you're going to grab the RO pickup line that's connected to the pump that's going into your DI. And next step is you're going to go to your local hardware store and you're going to pick up some Schedule 80. These are sprinkler risers. You have an option of picking them up in 18 inches, 24, 42, and I believe the biggest size they have is about 4 feet, 48 inches, if I'm not mistaken. So what you're going to want to do is, there's only one side of the threads. If you pick up the 48 inch, you're going to screw this on to the very end. On the pickup line, you're going to want to make sure you have enough Teflon tape on here because you don't want to create any air suction on this. You want to get full flow coming out of your tank. You're going to put your Teflon, you're going to squeeze it on there as tight as possible. You can do it, you can hand tighten it, you can even use a little bit of a little vice grip or something. Usually hand tight will work as long as you have enough Teflon. The next step is going to be, you're going to drop your 48 drop tube in there, and you're going to measure. Once it hits that bottom, you want to keep it about anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the bottom, because this is the pickup water drop stick that's going to go into your DI and out to your delivery point. All right, so get that measurement. Once you have that measurement and you're ready to cut, you're going to pull out your sprinkler riser. And depending on the measurement you need to cut off, go ahead and cut yourself the stuff you need. Go double check it. Look inside your tank. See how close you are to the bottom. Remember, you want to have at least about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of a gap. That way you're using up every single drop of water that's inside of your tank. Once you have completed the length that you need, you're going to re-grab your plastic washer. Make sure you put it on the correct way. You're going to grab your drop stick. Everything's hooked up already. Your line's hooked up. It's ready to go. You also want to make sure that your elbow here, you want to put some Teflon tape on it. Remember, You do not want to create any air suction on this. So make sure you put Teflon on everything. So you're going to slide the end of the drop tube. You're going to feed it through just a bit. And then you're going to grab, I should remove this little piece here. In case you guys do not find a 48-inch, you can purchase up to 224s, and you can get a little union where one hooks up there, and then you can hook up the other one over here like that, and you put them together. Just make sure you make a very tight seal, okay? If you can't find the 48-inch. Now, like I said, once you have properly cut it to size, you're sure that you're about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the bottom of that tank, you can go ahead and pull this back out, grab your plastic washer and your nut, feed just a bit inside, go inside, feed it through, bring it down, start tightening it up. Make sure you do not cross thread. And we're on. And we're all set. Same thing for the double users. With the exception, you're going to have 2 pickup lines on your double users. So make sure when you cut your holes, you measure the correct distance. That way you're not overlapping one on top of another. Just make sure they're nice and wide. Once it's on there, grab everything, seal it up, put your little clamp on, tighten it up, and you're ready to go. So that's it. There's nothing much more to explain on this process. You already know the size of the hole you need to do with your 1/2 inch bulkhead. You know what type of Schedule 80 PVC you need to pick up. Sprinkler risers. Go to the gardening section, wherever they have these at. And your hole, 1 3/8 of an inch. Make sure you have a drill. And that's it. There's nothing else I can do for explanation purposes. And depending on the tank that you are going to be using. These are flat bottom utility tanks. I know some will pick up the curved ones. If you do purchase a curved tank, make sure that you make your holes on the part that is not, you don't have a big oval part on there. You want to make sure you get sort of a nice tight seal. If you put it on the side, sometimes the groove will not allow it to sink properly. And then that drop stick is going to go sideways versus straight down. All right. You guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down on the videos. This video is going to go up on YouTube, and you guys are going to be able to access this at any time. Remember, if you guys have questions, feel free to send me a message. Leave a question here on the videos themselves, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. But until next time, thank you guys for tuning in, and enjoy your Nandolorian system.